Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Now this is another Thomas the Tank Engine video, and this is going to be sort of a different type of video. So, Big World Big Adventures. This is something I've been wanting to talk about. Now, I did do a video called Why I Hate the CGI series, and I mentioned this series. And what I thought about Big World Big Adventures is this was as bad as the Sharon Miller era, along with the CGI series. Big World Big Adventures made me so angry, and it did to a lot of other Thomas fans. But what if I told you that there could have been a chance that Mattel could have fixed Big World Big Adventures? Now, I have seen a video where the Unlucky Tug talked about Big World Big Adventures, and I think Unlucky Tug is an intelligent guy. Like, he points out so many good facts, and he, along with Troublesome Junction, made a few things where how they would fix Big World Big Adventures. Troublesome Junction explained how he would fix Deanna and Rebecca, and the Unlucky Tug talked about how he would fix Big World Big Adventures. So I decided, hey, why don't I do the same here? So sit back and relax as I explain how I would fix Big World Big Adventures. Now, along the way, I'm going to be talking about all the problems this series had and how I would improve them. So, let's talk about one of the biggest problems I had with this series. The Steam Team. So, for those of you who have never seen Big World Big Adventures, the one thing that made me angry the most is that the fact that they kicked out two important characters of the Steam Team. And they replaced them with females. And these female characters have dumb personalities. Like, one of them is just an African American stereotype, and the other one is just a jolly girl who is cheerful every 10 seconds. Now, those personalities don't make a lot of sense to me. But that's not all. The characters that they replaced were Edward here. Edward is one of the characters that got the boot from the Steam Team. Now, this really upsets me. Edward is a very important character for the series. I'm going to explain about Edward. So, for those of you who have never seen Thomas Friends, Edward is this blue engine here. He's a mixed traffic engine, and he's a very old and wise engine. So, Thomas the Tank Engine had never began the series. Edward was one of the first characters that the Reverend W. Awdry created. And Edward brings a lot of charm in my childhood. Like, every time I see an episode with Edward, it just makes my day. Having merchandise of Edward is good as well. Like, Edward was a well-beloved character. Like, I love Edward to death. And actually, Edward was the main character from this fan-made video called Sodor Fallout, which was created by a guy named Tid the Thunderbolt. Now, I don't think I like Sodor Fallout as much because there are some scenes that are kind of sad, but I still think Edward's a really great character. There are a lot of things that I love about Edward. His design, his personality, the fact that he can keep Bill and Ben in order, and he's just good friends with a few other characters. Like, Edward's exploit is a really memorable episode, because Edward actually pushed through when his crank pin came loose. Old Iron is when Edward became a hero. James was a runaway, and Edward rescued him. This is why Edward is such a charming character, because he just never gives up. Even though he's old, he still pushes through and strives to victory. How can you not go wrong with Edward here? Edward's just so impressive, and I wish that I could make a Gauge 1 version of Edward soon. And I do love how Thomas Tank Merch has Edward's model. Edward was such an amazing character. And to think that Sharon Miller would change his personality. Anyways, enough of me talking about Edward. Let's talk about what I could do for Edward. So, there's this episode from season 21 called A Shed for Edward, which is a follow-up to The Fastest Resident on Sodor. James had become an idiot and crashed into tin sheds, which kicks Edward out of sheds. and he's forced to sleep in Wellsworth with this annoying box on wheels, Philip. Don't get me wrong, Philip is not a bad character by any means. He's a really good character for the CGI series. But to partner him with Edward just feels so wrong to do. Edward was like so annoyed at this because he could not get any sleep because Philip was constantly chattering because he's a chatterbox. Now, what I would do was I'd probably not partner Edward with Philip. I would probably make Edward sleep in probably one of the sheds that they never brought up, like Emily's old shed. In Calling All Engines, they made an extra space of timber sheds for Emily. Emily now sleeps there. But I think that since that shed probably is empty, Edward could sleep there. And if you want to give Edward a roommate, probably bring back an old fan favorite character, Boko. Boko is one of Edward's very good friends. Boko is intelligent, he's mature, and he knows how to make the twin engines behave. Bill and Ben, I'm talking about. Anyways, you would impress so many fans if you brought back Boko. Just bring him back and partner him with Edward. Those two can get along, and Edward can actually get some legitimate sleep. Then the episode ends, and the sheds are rebuilt. But Edward decides to sleep with Philip, which just doesn't work. And the engines don't even give a crap that Edward left. The engines are like, I wonder who's going to sleep in the Timoth sheds. Oh my god. Please don't do this to my boy. My son just feels so disrespected. Now, what I would do here is I would not kick Edward out of the sheds. The reason being is that there's literally some other sheds next to Timoth's sheds. From Harvey to the Rescue. Like, I'm surprised no one pointed that out. Like, Mattel, you could have made Edward sleep in those sheds. And then there would be an extra space for Timoth's sheds. And you could bring Nia in. And Edward would still be a part of the main cast. That's just an opportunity that you missed here, Mattel. Dude, just think about this. I don't think it's a good idea to get rid of Edward because you're disgracing the Wilbur Awdry's legacy. Keep Edward in the main series, the STEAM team to be exact, and then you might still have a chance to put Nia in the main cast and keep Edward. Okay, so that's how I would fix Edward here. And that's how I would have a good marketable character. Like, Boko is like a fan favorite character. This is why he deserves to come back in the CGI series. So, that's how I would fix Edward. Alright. So, with Edward out of the way, we're already 8 minutes in the video, so I don't know if we'll have time or not. Hold on, this iPad is like taking so long to load. Okay, let me actually type in this other character who got replaced by a female. And you're all probably going to recognize him from your childhood. He's going to bring back a lot of nostalgia to you. He is none other than Henry. Henry was another character who was made by the Reverend Awdry. And he too got replaced. Now this just feels so wrong. Henry is another important character because Henry has like problems. He gets sick all the times until they gave him Welsh coal in a new shape. And Henry is another character who just pushes through. Like, he's as confident as Edward, where he just doesn't give up. Anyways, now, how did Henry get kicked out? Well, there's this episode called Forever and Ever, where Gordon is complaining about these changes. And this is one of the dumbest things in the episode. This made me so furious. Henry then comes up and says, Sir Topham Hatt says I can sleep in Vicarstown now. And Gordon's like, what? I was too. Okay, so one thing I would do here is do not kick Henry out of the main cast. Don't you dare. Okay, the shed I mentioned from Harvey to the Rescue, Edward already sleeps there for my fix. Just have Henry sleep next to Edward there. Boom. He's still in the main cast, but he's pushed to the side along with Edward. So now you can have Nia and Rebecca, and the whole STEAM team is there, including Henry and Edward. Like, that will not upset fans. It won't upset me. You have your important characters, and you have your female characters. Now we're getting somewhere, and we're making good progress. Alright guys, so that's all I have for this part. We're out of time. Now stay tuned for part 2, where I talk about how I would fix Nia and Rebecca's personalities. And what are your thoughts on this video? So far, are you liking my opinion? Tell me in the comment section below. Alright, so thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 2.